What is going on, everybody? Simply10 here with a debut of a brand new type of episode that has to do with the collectible minifigure series that LEGO releases every so often. Now, I know that we all don't have the money to buy all of them, so instead I've decided to come out with a top 10 list of which ones are, in my opinion, well, the top 10, and I'm even going to provide you with a field guide. And today, we are going to be taking a look at the LEGO Harry Potter CMF Series 2. Just 1 second before we hop in, I just want to give you a quick message on make sure that you really pay attention to if you really like this episode, because if you do, I really think that you should hit that like button and you should subscribe because it helps me out and it helps you out because you get the content you like and I get the subscribers that I need. And I hope that my 10-step method is appealing to you in a way that, it makes you want to subscribe. So, starting off at number 10, and that's right, we are counting down from 10 to 1, so you have to wait until the end of this video to see what my favorite figure is from this series. And well, at number 10, we have Lily Potter. And that being said, I mean, there are only 6 figures left after this, so she's sort of like my favorite of the leftovers almost. So I mean, if you really like one of the leftovers more than this Lily figure, then obviously go after them first. She's just sort of, my favorite of my least favorites. And well, probably the main reason for this is because of the Harry Potter baby figure that comes with it. It's less about her and more about her accessory. And well, I mean, he is a pretty cool accessory though. I mean, you look at him. He's like perfect. It's just a little baby Harry Potter with the golden H on his blanket. But I mean, other than that, she is a pretty nicely designed character. And well, as you can see, they actually really nailed that skin tone right there. Like, look at that. How did they get that so perfectly when they always seem to not get it as perfectly as that? And then looking at some of her other features, you can see that she has a nice little patterned shirt with like flowers or something. And then her pants actually have a little bit of patterning. I think it's supposed to be like a skirt. And then when you go around to the back side, you can see that she has some actually like side of her leg printing with that same barely noticeable skirt pattern. And then you can really see her flower pattern on her backside. And with her hair removed, you can see that she has a second face. And at number 9, we have Moaning Myrtle. And well, obviously, I mean, she probably should be higher on this list, but that's the problem with this list, is that there's so many good figures, and I really feel that, well, as cool as Myrtle is, she's not that big of a part of the Harry Potter series except for like the second book / movie. So I mean, she is cool and she looks really nice, but I mean, she's only part of one movie, while most of these other figures are a very large part of the Harry Potter series. So while she's a cool figure to get, she isn't the most exciting in my opinion. However, that's my opinion. In fact, let me know in the comment section down below if she is higher on your list. However, all that being said, she is a pretty nicely detailed character, and I actually really like how they gave her the mid-length legs, because that's just so perfect for her. And it allows her to be in that really cool ghost stance, mid-air, with that cool, like, mounting piece that they've added to some of their collectible minifigures that started with the DC minifigure series. And, well, she's pretty much just a blue figure with a lot of really in-depth blue coloring all over her. I mean, like, you can see all her scratches and her different tints of blue, her, like, light face, pretty much almost like white, but barely blue face. That looks really good. And she has, the tear because she's Moaning Myrtle. And then her book is actually really cool. And in fact, maybe if you got Dobby in the very first minifigure series, you might want to get this figure because, well, this comes with the undamaged book, while Dobby came with the damaged Tom Riddle diary. However, this is actually really weird to me. Look at this. Sorry, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but just look at this for a second. The books have different corners for the gold pieces. The corners for the gold on Moaning Myrtle's book are on the left, and Dobby's book has them on the right. And while that isn't a very big deal to me, that also may have had a little bit of a factor in putting her up this high because it's just kind of strange to me. It's not like it's that bothersome, but at the same time, it bothers me. And coming around to the backside, you can see that she has a nice little robe because obviously she was a Hogwarts student before she became a ghost, and it looks pretty nice. And when you take off her hair, you can see that she has a second face. And oh man, I cannot believe my list right now because I just double checked to make sure, and yes, Ginny is really at number 8. This is really where I want to put her. I mean, she's such a good figure, but this whole series is such a good series, and somehow she ended up at number 8 on my list. And probably the main reasoning for this is because her printing isn't the greatest. While it does look cool, there are lots of other cool prints moving down the line, and her little ice cream accessory definitely isn't the greatest accessory in the world. However, that being said, she does have some really nice printing, such as her nice black shoes that they actually gave to her. Like, since when does LEGO print on shoes on LEGO figures? And then her dress, as hard as it may be to tell, and this is also probably why she's, higher up on the list, because even though it is extensive printing, you just can't really tell that it's extensive printing. But I'm going to zoom in for you here, and you can see that it actually has a little bit of blue. Okay, so that angle actually gives you a pretty good view of it. You can see that, it's like a green dress, but then it has all these little dark blue lines on it. I mean, the amount of detail is crazy, but the problem with it is that you just can't tell unless I point it out to you as close as I am right now. And even though we are so close, it's still very hard to notice. And then moving around to the back side of the figure, you can see that she actually has pretty much the same print down the back. And then when you remove her hair, you can see that she has a second face. And next up at number 7, we have Ron Weasley. And well, obviously, I mean, he's Ron, so he's not that exciting, but I couldn't help but put him higher up on the list because of how good his printing is. I mean, look at that. Look at these, like, little wrinkles in his pants, and then his nice sleeves and stuff, but then there's, like, little texture on his little coat area right here. I mean, there's just so much detail on this figure. You can even see this little line right here on the side. And not only that, but he also has shoes. Even though we never see shoes on figures, this series is packed full of figures with shoes. And well, you gotta give this figure a little bit of points for his accessory, which is the butterbeer, and I actually think it's a really cool piece, and I especially think it's really cool because, well, this is a custom-made, dual-molded piece just for butterbeer, which probably means that we will be seeing a Hogsmeade soon that has this butterbeer piece in it, but as for now, this Ron Weasley with butterbeer is one of the few ways you can get this butterbeer piece. And then coming around to the back side, you can see that, well, just another excellent glance at all the detailing on this figure. And even when you take off his head, he has a second face. And at number 6, this is actually a figure that you really could go back and forth on between her and Ron Weasley because they're so similar, they even have the same accessory, and they're both on this area of the list because of how good their printing is. The only reason why I have Hermione higher is because, well, I really like her boot print. I just think that looks so cool. I can really, imagine her fuzzy, fluffy boots that she wears in the movie. She also has a really nice torso print, and this butterbeer is, like I said before with Ron, is exclusive to this series, and I know that I said you can get it in a few ways, and well, there's actually only 2 ways, and it's to get it with Hermione or Ron. So that's a good reason to pick up at least one of those figures. And then coming around to the backside, you can see that she has, the fuzzy boot printing that I just love for some reason. I mean, I don't know exactly why, I just really like the look of it. And you can't really see her back print, but when you take her hair off, you can definitely see that it's basically the same as the front, and she has a second face. And at number 5 in this LEGO Harry Potter CMF series, we have Dumbledore. And I've gotta say, this might be my favorite LEGO Dumbledore they've made up to this point. All these figures might be my favorite versions of these figures made up to this point, because they're all just really good and really amazing, and oh man, it'd be hard not to pick up 5 of these at least. So if you're going to pick up 5 of them, then if I were you, I'd really pay attention to these next 5 figures that I showed because, well, obviously they're my top 5. And, well, at first glance, he just looks so good. And, I mean, I love his gold printing right here that actually, shines in the light, as you can see when I lift him up like that. And then you can see that he has some really nice red printing, and then he has really nice printing along the back side. They even printed the back of his robe, which they rarely do. And you can see all that detail. You can't really see on the front side, but this nice angle gives you a really nice view of all that detail. And that's all over this whole thing. Obviously not on the sides right here, but all over the front and all over the back, it has that same detail that you can really see clearly on the back of his robe. And then obviously his hat looks really cool with the shiny gold stars. And then, well, obviously his accessory, which is Fox, is to me half the reason to get this, because previously we've only had a brick-built version, which looked like this, so obviously it is a major upgrade. And once again on the backside, you can see that when I take his hair off, he has a second face. Well, here we are at number 4, nearing the end of this video, and well, you haven't seen the best of it yet because there are 3 really cool figures coming up next. But first we have to, look at Fred Weasley. And there's a reason why I put him at number 4. And well, the reason why I put this character so high is because I feel like he just has it all. Like, he has the character rarity, he has the really nice designing, he has one of my favorite Lego faces I've ever seen. Like, that's just so perfect for Fred Weasley. And he even has a case that I don't quite remember from the movie, but I'm pretty sure that he used this case to collect bets on who they thought was going to win the Triwizard Tournament. And I changed the camera view a little bit to give you a better look at his, well, what is basically a gambling case. And coming around to the backside, you can see that it's pretty much the same thing, and you can see that really cool dual molded printing along his legs. Like, look at that. Look at that really nice printing that looks like a coat dragging all the way along to the backside. Like, look at that. That looks so cool, even though they can't do very much printing on the backside here. Then obviously some very nice printing with his hood, and when you take off his hat, which looks really cool in my opinion, just look at that. He has a second face. And next up at number 3, so he better be good, and he is, and it's George Weasley. And well, the only reason why he's ranked higher than his almost duplicate of a twin brother is because of his accessory, and that accessory is the Marauders map. It also is worth noting that they do have different prints. As you can see, his coat is closed, while Fred's coat is wide open. However, that's not the reason why I think George is better. It's obviously because of his accessory that he comes with, because the Marauders map is just such a cool thing to have. However, other than those two things, there's obviously not that much that separates him from Fred, but I don't expect them to, and I actually think it's really fun how they basically look the same, and I actually really like his face print too, but I do think that Fred's is better. And then turning to the side, you can see that he also has that really nice coat look that I really enjoyed with Fred all the way across, and then he has the same hood. It's probably the same print on the back actually, and when you take off his hat, which is probably also the same print as Fred's, you can see that he has a second face. And number 2 on this list is Harry Potter. And well, I know what you're thinking, he's just Harry Potter, why is he so high? He should probably be where Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley are, right? Well, think again, my friend, because look at his accessory. Now, obviously, if you're not into Harry Potter, you don't know what this is, but I mean, why are you watching this video if you're not into Harry Potter? However, either way, I will give you a brief description just in case you forgot. This book belongs to the Half-Blood Prince. So yes, in this very underwhelming figure's hands, he holds one of the coolest books that you can get in the LEGO Harry Potter world. And then the other thing that really made me realize how cool this figure is when I took a look at another Harry Potter figure from the LEGO set series of this same time. So I'm going to show you the Harry Potter figure which came out from the Burrow set at the same time as this LEGO Harry Potter CMF series. And as you can see, that's the difference. That's how much better the CMF series is than the figures that came in the sets. That's why all these figures are so cool to me, because they have so much more detail and they look so much better than any of the figures that came in the Harry Potter Summer 2020 wave. Basically, my main point of this video is that if you're looking to get really cool and maybe the best ever versions of these Harry Potter figures, this is where you want to be. And last, but most certainly not least, obviously, because he is number 1, and that is Grip Hook. And maybe this figure is high up on my list just because I was also looking at the very old versions of the LEGO Harry Potter goblins, even the ones that, were in the early 2010s. This figure just looks so much better. And not only that, I really like the Sword of Gryffindor. Like, that's just such a cool and very accurate representation. He even has red dual molded crystals embedded into this silver sword. And well, he obviously also comes with a key, but that is not nearly as important or cool to me as the Sword of Gryffindor is. And while his face print is obviously, it's hard to capture what a goblin looks like in LEGO, but I think they did a really nice job. And his torso print does the same thing. I really like the little stripes going down all the way across. And I think what makes it even cooler is the idea of how the stripes carry into his arms right here. So they gave him really cool arm printing to connect to this really nice torso print. I really do think that arm printing enhances the features of the figure so much, and I just think it's really cool whenever LEGO does it. And then coming around to the backside, you can see, pretty much the same thing here, with the nice little striping all the way across. And when you take off his head, you can see that he is the only figure in this list that doesn't have a second face. So, there they are, the top 10 figures from the LEGO Harry Potter CMF Series 2. And well, at the beginning of this video, I obviously promised you that I'd give you a small feel guide of each of these characters, so here we go. If you're looking for Lily, obviously feel for the one and only baby figure in this entire series. If you're looking for Moaning Myrtle, first I'd feel for her book, that narrows it down to about 3 figures, and then feel for her hair, or this little clear stand that she comes with. If you're looking for Ginny, feel for this one and only ice cream in the entire series, and this cup also might help you find her. If you're looking for Ron or Hermione, look for the butterbeer cup first, and then feel for the hair to determine which of the two it is. Next up for Dumbledore, there are a lot of features that you could use. You could use his robes, which I believe are the only ones in this series. You could use Fox, which is, obviously the only Phoenix in this series. His hat is actually the only, hat in his series. Dumbledore is just a very unique figure. He probably is the easiest to find out of all of these. If you're looking for Fred, look for his suitcase because it is the only one in the series. And then we'll obviously, maybe to confirm it, maybe feel for the hat. That way, he has those two features. And if you're looking for George, feel for his map and his hat, sort of the same as Fred, to make sure you have the two features he comes with. And then for Harry Potter, feel for the book to narrow it down. And then his hair might be hard to determine at first, but just make sure that you get the sort of scraggly feeling hair and the nice soft smooth book. And a grip hook is also probably a really easy one to find because his sword and his hair are very unique to LEGO. So obviously that is a pretty quick rundown of what to feel for, and if you want more in depth, there are other videos out there. I'm here to tell you what the top 10 are and the basics on how to find them. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comment section down below on what I can improve on and, what I'm doing good so I can do more of it. And also let me know if you agree with my list and which LEGO minifigure from the Harry Potter series that you want the most or, you already have and you like the most. And also, once again, be sure to subscribe if you liked this video, because if you like this video, you're gonna like all my videos. So, do yourself a favor and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything I have to say. Anyways, that's it for today, and I will see you in the next one.